Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, El Nino is officially here. Are you ready for the big storms coming our way?
Plus, the city expands its sandbag program for the rainy season. We'll tell you how.
Then a Torrance legend retires after decades of service to the South Bay.
And you won't want to miss our full coverage of the Rose Parade from Judging Day to Torrance's big float debut.
These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chin.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. The city of Torrance is making sure you're fully prepared for El Nino by expanding its sandbag program. In addition to getting sandbags at the city yard, the Public Works Department says residents can now pick up sandbags from Fire Station 1. The second location was added to handle requests made after hours and to keep up with the demand. As residents prepared for the storm by picking up their free sandbags, nearly 1,600 were given out to residents already. If Torrance homeowners are in need of sandbags, they can go to Fire Station 1 after 4 p.m. on weekdays and anytime on the weekend. Fire Station 1 will offer sandbags on a 24-hour basis throughout the rainy season. This offer is for Torrance residents only and limited to 20 bags per person. On the first day of distribution at Fire Station 1, 162 bags were given out. Fire Station 1 is located at 1701 Crenshaw Boulevard, and the city's Public Works Department is located in the city yard at 20500 Madrona Avenue. Sandbags are available from 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. during the week. For any questions, contact the Public Works Department at 310-781-6900.
And with heavy rains expected to continue through the month, is your home roofing strong enough to keep up with the rain? Jesse Pierre has this story.
Roofing contractors like Hopped Roofing are being flooded with calls as residents prepare for El Nino.
On this roof here, we went out and did a complete removal down to the decking, replaced some damaged lumber that was in bad shape, and installed a new landmark shingle from Certainteed.
Torrance resident Lauren Chalky patiently waited for 8 weeks before a roof contractor could begin work on her property.
One thing we definitely wanted to do was replace our roof. When we bought the house, we knew it was going to need replacing in, kind of the near future. And so El Nino was really the impetus to get off our butts and finally get it done.
But the best part for Chalky was picking out the shingles.
My dog and I take daily walks around the neighborhood, and while we were trying to pick out the color, while I was walking him, I would look at all the houses and see which ones I liked the best. And
Picking a color and picking a style are a really important part of doing the roof. Number one thing is we want to keep the water out, but it's your investment. We want it to look nice also.
Most jobs take 2 to 4 days, and Baker says an average house in Torrance can cost between $7,000 to $10,000 to fix.
Being prepared is very important. I've got a lot of clients back that I'd seen back in '97 in those areas where they lost roofs because they weren't prepared. You'll go to a roof, you can see the flooding damage that was caused by gutters being blocked.
But there are other steps you can take to protect your home while you wait for a contractor.
You can come in and tarp or plastic roofs where you have bad areas at to try and get you by, to get you some time till the roofing contractor can come out there and do your roof.
Nothing makes Baker happier than seeing the smiles on his customers' faces.
I've been a Torrance resident all my life, so that's what makes it really nice working in the city. A lot of people, we're doing roofs for people that we've done, that I've done 30, 40 years ago. And then now they're coming back to me and saying, hey, you did it before, let's do it again.
And if you've noticed any missing shingles, leaks, or cracks, it's probably a good time to contact an expert and have the overall condition of your roof fully inspected. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jesse Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. To help keep your costs down, make sure you hire a reputable contractor like the ones listed on torranceca.gov/business.
For another year, the annual Sharing is Caring event offered a delicious meal to those in need across the South Bay. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Tao Tao was there.
Families packed this ballroom at the Torrance Marriott to receive a warm meal, something they wouldn't have had without the help of these volunteers. Just today, over 1,000 meals were served with anything from turkey to mashed potatoes. And some of those families here say the warm meal gives them hope for a better future.
It gives people back their humanity for a day.
It's a blessing because there's a lot of people out there that realize that the homeless are human. They need to be treated like family.
Just a few months ago, Melissa Bayless found a permanent home after being homeless for 12 years. She says generous meals like these have helped her get through the hard times.
It means a lot because people took a lot out of their heart to come and volunteer and help out. And instead of saying, nah, it's after Christmas, I'm going to spend time with my family still. They donated their time here.
For over 25 years, Honda, Torrance Salvation Army, and the Torrance Marriott have partnered to prepare hot meals for this event.
It started a long time ago when a Salvation Army warehouse was broken into and all the toys were either stolen or ruined. And so Honda jumped in and they said, we're not going to let this happen. So they sponsored it, and then Marriott offers this beautiful place and a lot of volunteers.
A holiday get-together that grows larger every year. But without the volunteers, it wouldn't be possible.
This is a way to show them that, yeah, we're still here. We still care about you. We're still willing to go out of our way to make sure that you have a decent meal and that someone cares for you.
And for some, it's all about coming together as a family.
It's a lot. It's a lot to be thankful for.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Tao.
Thanks, Tal. Many of the attendees are from the Stillman Sawyer Family Service Center in Harbor City, who work closely with the Salvation Army.
And speaking of the holidays, the city of Torrance hosted a delicious breakfast with St. Nick. From perfectly made pancakes to fun dancing, attendees had the chance to enjoy festivities before Christmas. The program also included a puppet show and a photo opportunity with good old St. Nick. This tradition has brought families from different communities together for years.
Bay City's South Bay Church created a winter wonderland for not only its members but also for the community to enjoy on Christmas Eve. Hiba Samad has the story.
It was like a miracle on Christmas Eve, as 20 tons of snow quickly blanketed the front lawn of Bay City South Bay Church.
And there were a ton of neighborhood kids and their parents, little ones like 3- and 4-year-olds, coming in and touching the snow. It was like the first time they'd ever touched snow.
Creating a snow slide piled up to 7 feet high, Pastor Jim McCain has been the pioneer behind this snow fest, making sure the tradition for more than 10 years sticks around for the community.
It just brings us great joy to share this kind of stuff with the community in every way we can.
Brant Lancaster and his children look forward to this Christmas wonderland every year.
They don't go to sleep at night because they know it's coming the next day, so they love it.
I have 3 boys, and it's the first thing they talk about is the big sled run and the snow. So it makes for a special, especially in Southern California. It's really special.
Sherry Patterson has been coming to Bay Cities for 8 years, a place that has become much more than just a place for worship.
It's a sense of family here, so it's really nice.
It's the first year Bay City South Bay has put on the snow slide in front of the church, and for the kids, they say it's the best one yet.
The hill is shorter, so I don't have to wear a helmet, and there's this little place.
And with snow a rare sight so close to the beach, for 7-year-old Aiden Mills, the best part about Christmas is coming here.
I feel very proud. Like Pastor Jim, he puts a lot of work into it.
And as the snow slowly melts away, for many in the community, it's a slippery day they will never forget.
The annual Tournament of Roses parade held in Pasadena is a tradition the city of Torrance has been a part of for decades. And one of the most anticipated nights leading up to the parade is Officials Night. Now, for the past 45 years, the Torrance Rose Float Association has welcomed local leaders to check out the float before it hits the main stage in Pasadena. Laura Fong was there and has this story.
Something that I really have enjoyed for the last 10 years, getting up here and just seeing the volunteers and seeing what they're putting together, giving them a thank you for all their hard work.
Before the world got to see Torrance's perfectly pawful Rose Float hit Colorado Boulevard, local officials like Mayor Patrick Feary got a special sneak peek.
Since they are sponsoring the float, it's extra special that they're all here, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. They enjoy it. They get to talk to the decorators. They get to walk around and see the other floats.
For the past 45 years, the Rosefloat Association has welcomed the City Council, City Commissioners, and school board members, as well as their families, to visit the Fiesta Parade Float Warehouse in Irwindale, where massive and breathtaking floats are brought to life.
Very picky.
This year, about 115 people took part in VIP night, where they got an up-close look at Torrance's What a Perfectly Pawful Adventure, and met some of the dedicated volunteers like Mary Lynn, who came all the way from Michigan.
It's so neat, and you meet so many people, nice people, and everybody is working so diligently to get everything so perfect that you just feel great when you leave here. It's a happy feeling.
This year's float honors the Torrance Fire Department, and as you can see, I'm sitting inside the fire truck, and it coincides with the retirement of Fire Chief William Rakowski. And thanks to the generosity of local businessman Craig Kovar, Chief Rakowski got a seat on the float.
He won out of the opportunity drawing a chance to ride on a float, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And because of Willie's retirement, he gave it to him.
Every year, the float has a unique theme, and for Float Association President Georgine Griswold, each float has been extraordinary.
Each one of them is special in its own way. This time, honoring the firefighters is very special. Working with the firefighters throughout the year has been special.
Torrance has taken part in the Tournament of Roses parade for more than 100 years now, and it's a special tradition the city plans to continue with each new year. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. And later in the show, we'll bring you up close and personal just hours before the float makes its first public appearance. Plus, we go behind the scenes with volunteers of the Torrance Rose Float Association.
A long journey of service comes to an end for a South Bay legend. We spoke with former CEO and president of the Volunteer Center South Bay, Dee Dee Hicks, on her last day in office. Reporter Hiba Samad has the story.
This looks like an interesting schedule.
As Dee Dee Hicks teaches new CEO of the Volunteer Center, Sarah Myers, the ropes, 2 decades of ups and downs comes to an end.
I feel good about it. I have enjoyed the 29 years, and now I'm ready to sleep in the mornings.
In the mid-'80s, as a mother of 4, Hicks ventured to look for a job outside of motherhood. When she found out about the executive position at the Volunteer Center, she never thought she would get it.
A friend called one day and said, there's an ad in the Daily Breeze for an executive director of the Volunteer Center, and you should go for it because that's right down your alley.
A job she still calls perfect. Hicks has led the Volunteer Center South Bay Harbor Long Beach to great heights. When Hicks started, the annual budget was only $140,000, but soon increased to nearly $2 million under her leadership.
I really feel that nonprofits need to give back to the community in ways in addition to the programs they do, and try to make it as beautiful as you possibly can.
And with this motto, being the CEO for the Volunteer Center has been more than just a job, but a way to change lives in the community. She says one of her biggest accomplishments was increasing the number of programs. Last year alone, the center served 34,000 people.
We were also chosen as the #1 volunteer center in the United States, and so that was a very, very exciting thing.
Over the years, Hicks has spearheaded programs like Operation Teddy Bear, Youth Leadership Development, Court Referral, and Food for Kids.
It's all of these things that make it so worthwhile.
And as Hicks prepares for a new chapter in her life, co-workers say she's 1 in a million.
This is Dee Dee Hicks, this building, and what's inside. That's the legacy.
And Sarah Myers hopes to continue building on Dee Dee's vision.
There's a lot of opportunity, and so I'm really excited to continue that legacy and start really diving in and figuring out what other community needs are there that we could be helping to address.
Hicks says she plans to visit Torrance often. After all, it has always been home.
If I could have looked the world over to find the perfect place to work, I couldn't have found a better place than Torrance, and I firmly believe that.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. Hicks says although she is retiring from the Volunteer Center, she is still looking forward to new challenges ahead in the future.
Well, still ahead, the Torrance Rose Float makes its way down Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena.
Plus, the state hosts a meeting in Torrance to bring tighter regulations across California.
But first, here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
Hey, Joel Green here, host of Curiosity Quest Goes Green. And did you know that many light bulbs are considered household hazardous waste, meaning they should be disposed of in a safe manner? Did you know why? Many types of light bulbs contain metals such as mercury. If bulbs are broken, burned, or buried, metals and other toxic chemicals can be released into the environment. To find out where you should be taking your light bulbs, make sure you check in with your city.
Trash, cigarette butts, grass clippings, leaves, and pet waste in the gutter are all potential sources of stormwater pollution. Sweep it up, don't wash it down. RecycleTorrance.org. Whenever you change your used motor oil and filter, make sure to recycle them. It's good for the environment and it's good for you. Earn up to 40 cents per gallon by recycling your used motor oil. RecycleTorrance.org.
Volunteers from around the world put the finishing touches on the Rose Parade floats. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Tao Ta takes us back to Irwindale, where it was crunch time for dozens of volunteers on New Year's Eve.
Leave it up to hundreds of volunteers to transform these Rose Parade floats to life.
Today I've been putting the berries onto the float, gluing them on one by one for pretty much all day.
Everything from berries, silver leaves, fresh coconut, sesame seeds to over 7,500 roses were used to cover up every nook and cranny on Torrance's whimsical float that featured a playful cat chasing birds, eventually needing to be rescued by helpful firefighters. Each and every one of these winter berries are placed in the float hand by hand. These volunteers have about thousands more to go for the big show day.
Who knew covering this whole truck in berries was going to make it look like a shiny fire truck?
It seems like it would be kind of easy, but you have to get the glue on right. It has to be the right tackiness, consistency, and then placing the berry. There's two ends to a berry. You have two black dots, so you don't want those black dots showing, so you have to put them sideways so only the pretty side shows.
Over 300 volunteers have been working around the clock since the day after Christmas.
Gluing the backs of eucalyptus leaves with contact cement, and then they will go to someone who is placing them where they belong on the float. So preparation is very important.
From first-timers to experienced volunteers working furiously painting, cutting to gluing the dry materials.
Looks good to me.
Some welcome the added pressure to finish, already planning to work through the night to get the floats ready before the big judging and parade day.
It's just good fun. It's fun. It's tacky and dirty, but it's fun.
The pride of seeing the Rose Parade float make their way down Colorado Boulevard for the world to see is like no other.
On the day of when it's going down, you can say, oh, I did that part, I did that part. So it's really cool.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Ta.
Thank you, Tao. Torrance is considered one of the top 12 fire departments in the state with a Class 1 distinction.
And here's a look back on Judging Day, when the hard work of volunteers paid off before the float hit the road on New Year's Day. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Tao Ta takes us there.
It's wonderful to see what you've done. Like I did this flower, and I did the front and back slide with the straw flowers.
Retired elementary teacher Clara Rossi is full of joy. She tells me how she comes every year to volunteer on the making of Torrance's Rose Float from start to finish.
That it's done, is an amazing thing.
For exchange student Yoselin Molina, it's the first time seeing these float masterpieces in person.
Oh my God, I don't know, it's very funny for me. I don't know, also in Spanish is increíble, es lo máximo, because I see in the TV in Bolivia. In Bolivia it's funny, I don't know, it's very nice for me.
Molina says she has only seen these floats on TV. Being in California for just 3 months now, she's truly grateful just to be here.
is very important because I can close to the car, flower car. Yes.
Early in the year, volunteers at Fiesta Parade floats in Irwindale began planning, building, and decorating, and now the fruits of their labor get judged just the night before their big debut. With 20 categories to judge and 11 floats to review, these judges have their work cut out.
Floral presentation, color harmony of the flowers, and how well the theme of the float fits the overall theme of the parade.
While 7 floats will be recognized for having the best animation, for Torrance's float for having the best floral decoration for a 35-foot float, one lucky winner will receive the sweepstakes trophy, a true honor for some of those who will be riding down Colorado Boulevard.
Well, I hope we do well. You know, it's you never know with judging what they're going to look for.
William Murkowski, former chief of the Class 1 Torrance Fire Department, retired at the end of December, and says having the opportunity to represent the city one last time is the icing on the cake to his career.
It surprised me how much the details are, and I'm really excited to be here this morning and to wait and see where they're going to place me on it.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Tao.
Thanks, Tao. There were 8 riders on the float this year.
Well, thousands of people from around the world lined up along Colorado Boulevard to watch the 2016 Rose Parade come to life, including 2 of my friends from Bovina, Texas, Jeff and Rose Stillman. Here's a look back on New Year's Day when Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Tao Tao was there to see the excitement.
As thousands lined up to snag the best seats on the parade route, the 127th Tournament of Roses event did not disappoint.
Just love the floats, being outside, camping.
Parade goer Tony Kirk has been coming to the Rose Parade for 15 years. He camped out as early as noon on New Year's Eve to make sure he got a prime spot with his daughters.
We bring sleeping bags, blankets, 2 or 3 layers of clothes, and hot drinks. We have a little stove and we heat water and have coffee and tea.
Georgine Griswold from the Torrance Rose Float Association says despite the unusual chilly weather, it was well worth it to see the firefighter-themed float that took over 4,000 man-hours to build come to life.
It's just awesome. All night long, people have been going by saying it's their favorite, taking pictures of it, asking lots of questions. What's this flower? What's that? And we're very proud.
The city of Torrance's float, called What a Perfectly Pawful Adventure, honored the Class 1 Torrance Fire Department. This creation gave Chief William Murkowski, who served the city for 35 years, one last time to be in uniform.
It feels great. I worked with both of the 2 other firefighters that are riding on the top with me. I worked with them for a lot of my career. I know them well. They're good people, and they did a great job for our department while they were employed as firefighters.
And it was also an exciting day for other participants like South High Junior Nick Espoleta. For the 2nd year in a row, he led the way as a solo snare drummer for the Pasadena City College Hello Trumpets. As for many families like Kirk, coming to the Rose Parade is a one-of-a-kind opportunity to kick off the new year.
It's tradition. We like to have family traditions and do the same thing. I hope they remember this when they're older.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Tao.
While this year is one for the books, the theme for next year's float is already in the works and will soon be revealed, and preparations by the Torrance Rose Float Association will begin very soon.
And here's Robin G's report that captures Torrance's float journey from Decoration Week to Pasadena.
The clock is ticking down and it's less than 24 hours until Rose Parade float judging, but the roses are waiting their turn to go onto the float. Why? It's the winter berries. Yes, there are thousands of them that need to be put onto the side of the red fire truck, and they are being glued on one by one. And it takes a lot of time to do that, as well as to do this beautiful front bumper that's sure to make a great first impression. It's been a long day, and now it looks like it's going to be a long night because those winter berries are still not on the float. So the back of the float is getting the roses and the big floral arrangements, and the countdown is on, but the float always does get done in time for judging. Judging has just finished, and doesn't the float look spectacular? Let's take a quick look and see all of the 1,000 winter berries are on. The Dalmatian is so cute, and there's the cat up in the tree with the birds, waiting to be rescued by the fire department. And here's a nice little dog house with a bulldog. Our float makes it to Orange Grove Boulevard almost at midnight to celebrate the new year. And the thrill of it all to see it going down Colorado Boulevard in all its glory, winning the Princess Trophy this year.
Thanks, Robin. Now, as many of you know, Torrance's float is created thanks to the hands of our volunteers. And when Robin called me, she mentioned that she noticed the same volunteers day in and day out. They were the first ones there, last ones out, all to work on all the details of this beautiful float.
Well, congratulations to the volunteers for all their work. It certainly paid off with the city taking home the Princess Trophy.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
A special meeting hosted by the California Environmental Protection Agency kicked off conversations with the community on how to improve refinery safety. Hiba Samad tells us more.
So there's a lot of pieces to this, but I can say that everyone is committed to moving forward.
And that's the key to making positive change, says Emergency Management and Refinery Safety Manager Paul Penn. He says images from this past year's ExxonMobil refinery explosion in Torrance has left a heightened interest amongst the community.
What we're trying to do is to convey what our proposed regulations are and to elicit comments from the community and industry and the regulators so that we can develop and refine a package that will help to protect the public health, safety, and environment.
And that's the goal. Cal EPA hosted multiple meetings across the country, inviting residents living around refineries to suggest input on any safety improvements they would like to see.
I believe the people here are heartfelt in their desire to have a safe environment.
Cal EPA plans to have an effective regulation plan proposal in place by 2017. It will have a stronger communication plan, highlight emergency responses, and even public education for refineries across the state to follow.
During any emergency, communication and coordination are an issue. And the more you can do beforehand, the better it'll be when and if it really happens. And it will never be perfect. Communication and coordination will always be a problem. You will never eliminate it. But we can minimize it by all the things that we're doing.
And while Penn emphasized the meeting was not about ExxonMobil's refinery in Torrance, the audience raised their concerns about the facility.
My faith is somewhat shaken in our municipal government.
That the people who are responsible for notification and emergency management have not really addressed how they could, deal with this crisis.
Conversations communicated to Cal EPA will be incorporated into the safety package.
It's just refreshing to see that we're attacking these safety issues in our community on multiple fronts.
Penn says the goal is to bring consistency and improve how refineries respond to emergencies effectively. And here in Torrance, officials are working hard.
The folks we've been working with have been both forthright and competent and understand also there are constraints that are put upon them.
A meeting that helped move the community forward in an effort to keep the environment safe. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. These meetings were also held in other parts of the state. The U.S. Chemical Safety Board will hold a January 13th public hearing in Torrance's council chambers.
Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And I'm Jin Chin. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.